When Arionne Curry decides to speak, you know something big is about to happen. This time, she didn't just throw out hints or take subtle shots online. She came with proof. Not rumors, not hearsay, but a recorded phone call with Martell Holt. The conversation was raw, unedited, and just messy enough to set the entire internet on fire. What made it hit even harder was the way she delivered it. There was no screaming, no crying, and not even a raised voice. Instead, she kept her tone calm, measured, and deliberate, almost surgical. It was quiet, but it cut deep. Honestly, it landed harder than any Instagram rant or emotional livestream could have. That's because this wasn't just gossip. This was a calculated move. Before diving into what was actually said, you have to understand the timing. Why did she choose now? Why this particular call? Why make it public at all? For years, Arionne has been a shadow figure in the love and marriage Huntsville drama. Her name pops up in interviews, confessionals, and online discussions, yet she's never been given an actual seat on the stage. She's been talked about, judged, and labeled, but rarely heard in her own voice. Until now. This phone call wasn't just about spilling secrets. It was about strategy. It was her move in a long game, and she made it count. The moment the audio hit social media, fans went into overdrive. Martell's voice sounded oddly composed, almost as if he knew, or at least suspected, that the call was being recorded. Arionne, on the other hand, was calm but relentless. She didn't shout, she delivered her words with precision. She asked the kind of questions that left him no easy way out. At one point, she said, "You know exactly what I'm talking about." That single sentence lit the internet on fire. What was she referring to? Was it a secret relationship? A hidden lie? Something only the two of them knew? Martell didn't deny it. He didn't even try to explain. Instead, there was a pause, and that silence spoke louder than anything else. And if the call itself was the spark, the Instagram post that followed was the explosion. She didn't post a flashy selfie. She didn't write a long caption. Instead, she dropped a cryptic image with a short, sharp one-liner that basically screamed, "I have proof. Don't push me." That's when fans knew this wasn't random. It was timed, planned, and executed like a chess move. The phone call was the setup. The post was the punchline. But to really understand the weight of this moment, we have to rewind. Martell and Arionne's history is not new. Their connection ran for years, overlapping with his marriage to Melody Sherrari. While fans were watching Martell and Melody build their TV empire, Arionne's name was whispered behind the scenes. She wasn't just a fling. This was a real relationship that existed alongside his marriage. Even without being an official cast member, Arionne was always present in the background. She appeared in interviews, clapped back during Instagram lives, and kept herself relevant without ever needing a camera crew. But in 2025, the game changed. This time, she flipped the script. Instead of letting Martell tell his version of her story, she let people hear him for themselves, not through gossip blogs, not through second-hand accounts, but through his own voice. And nothing makes a person more uncomfortable than hearing their own words come back to haunt them. The release didn't feel like a messy outburst. It felt calculated, like a quiet storm that was planned down to the minute. And it worked. Fans weren't just talking about what Martell said anymore. They were analyzing every detail. His tone, his pauses, even the way he breathed between sentences. Suddenly, Arionne wasn't the crazy ex anymore. She was the woman with the receipts. And Martell? He was on defense. There was no Instagram Live to explain his side. No carefully crafted statement, just silence. And that silence was loud, because when Martell can't control the narrative, he often says nothing at all. That's the shift Arionne created. Martell Holt has always been a master at controlling his image. He's a smooth talker, a sharp dresser, the kind of man who can charm a crowd while dodging accountability like a pro athlete. But in that leaked call, the mask didn't just slip, it shattered. You could hear it in his voice. The hesitation before answering, the nervous little laugh when Arionne pressed too hard, the carefully chosen phrases that sounded more like PR lines than a conversation between two people who share a child. This was Martell without the polish, without the performance. And it wasn't just what he said, it was what he didn't say. At one point, Arionne brought up a recent situation, clearly something personal and specific. Martell dodged it completely. No denial, no clarification, just a weak attempt to change the topic. And in situations like this, avoidance often confirms more than an actual confession would. Arionne knew exactly what she was doing. She kept her tone steady and in control, guiding the conversation into corners where he had no easy escape. She wasn't looking for answers, she was proving a point. Martell's version of events has holes. For years, Martell has painted himself as the misunderstood ex-husband trying to keep things calm for the children. Melody was cast as the emotional one. Arionne was labeled the homewrecker. But this phone call flipped that story upside down. Then came the Instagram post. It was short, almost cryptic, but it didn't need to be long. Fans read between the lines. Some believed it was a warning aimed directly at Martell. Others thought it was a teaser for something bigger. Either way, it sent a message, and it worked. The gossip blogs picked it up first, then YouTubers, then Instagram gossip pages with millions of followers. Suddenly, everyone was talking about Arionne again. People were dissecting the call, comparing it to old interviews, digging up past live streams to connect the dots. Some fans who had dismissed her in the past started saying, maybe she's been telling the truth all along. It's wild how one small move, just a phone call and a post, can change the public's perception. Meanwhile, Martell's camp stayed silent. It felt less like strength and more like damage control. If he spoke, he'd be admitting the story was worth responding to. If he stayed quiet, the speculation would grow. Either way, Arionne was winning. This wasn't an emotional meltdown. This was PR warfare. Timed, measured, and delivered with enough mystery to keep everyone guessing. For the first time in a long time, Arionne wasn't reacting to the drama. She was creating it. Martell thrives when he's the one steering the conversation. But with this move, he was no longer the narrator. He was the subject. And that change in position is exactly what Arionne orchestrated. With one call and one post, she cracked the image he had worked so hard to protect. Fans didn't just hear the conversation, they felt it. You can't fake hesitation. You can't rehearse the sound of someone trying not to say too much. What makes this even more interesting is the fact that no one believes this is all she has. If one phone call caused this much chaos, what else could she be holding? Screenshots? More recordings? A whole archive of receipts? That uncertainty is what keeps people watching. Arionne didn't unload everything she had. She fired one shot and left the rest to imagination. And in today's world, when you give people just enough to speculate, they'll build the rest of the story themselves. Now, the narrative isn't just Martell versus Melody, or Martell versus Arionne. It's Martell versus public opinion, and public opinion spreads faster than the truth. Arionne's position has shifted completely. She's no longer just the other woman people gossip about. She's now the unpredictable factor, the one who could drop another bomb at any moment. Even her harshest critics admit she played this smart. Because whether you think she's being messy or strategic, one thing is undeniable: she knew exactly what she was doing. Martell is now stuck between two bad options. If he speaks, he fuels the fire. If he stays silent, he looks guilty. Either way, he's not in control anymore. Arionne has the wheel, and she's not slowing down. The irony? Arionne never needed Love and Marriage Huntsville to make noise. She became a recurring character without ever appearing on the set. That's influence. Now the big question is, what's her next move? More tapes? A full sit-down interview? A brand deal? Or is this just a slow, deliberate game of chess where she keeps everyone guessing? Whatever it is, she's got the audience's attention. And this moment isn't just another reality TV scandal. It's a reminder that narratives can change instantly. The person you villainize can turn the tables with one well-timed post. Silence can speak louder than a 1,000-word statement. For Martell, this is uncharted territory. He's used to directing the story. Now he's reacting to it and watching public opinion shift beneath his feet. The most telling part? Even his defenders have gone quiet. Because in the world of reality TV and online gossip, it's not always about being right, it's about looking right. And right now, Martell's image has cracks. Arionne didn't just share a phone call, she shifted the balance of power. And in this game, that kind of move is almost impossible to recover from. So here we are, one phone call, one cryptic post, and the entire internet is holding its breath. Arionne didn't need to scream, didn't need to go live for hours, and didn't need a TV contract to make her point. She let Martell's own words do the talking, and in doing so, she turned years of whispered rumors into undeniable reality for thousands of listeners. Now, Martell is in unfamiliar territory. He's not guiding the conversation, he's not charming his way out of trouble, he's sitting in silence while public opinion shifts around him. That silence isn't strength. It's the sound of someone realizing the control they once had is slipping. The real question is, what's next? Does Arionne have more recordings, screenshots, full conversations that could tear apart the image Martell has worked so hard to protect? Or was this just a warning shot to let him know she's not playing anymore? One thing's for sure, this story isn't over. And if this was only the first move, we might be about to witness one of the most calculated and explosive reality TV shakeups we've seen in years. Stay tuned, because the next chapter could be even louder.